U.S. stocks closed up on Tuesday as cooling inflation data boosted hopes that the Federal Reserve would not raise interest rates at the end of its two-day policy meeting this week. The Dow gained 0.4%, the S&P 500 gained 0.7, and the Nasdaq gained 0.8%, the latter two indexes reaching their highest closing levels in 14 months. A U.S. Labor Department report showed the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, rose just 0.1% in May, putting the annual inflation rate at 4%, lower than most economists had expected. Traders have now priced in a 93% chance that the central bank will pause its rate hikes at the conclusion of its two-day policy meeting on Wednesday, with some still believing it will cut rates by the end of the year. But Nancy Daoud, private wealth advisor for Ameriprise Financial, believes a Fed pivot anytime soon is not likely as the central bank tries to achieve its 2% inflation goal.
So going from 4 to 2% is, I think, going to be a much tougher road than it was going from 9.1 to 4. Although I believe there will be a pause tomorrow or this week, there very likely will be another rate hike, maybe later in the summer or early fall. I think the Fed is trying very hard to have that soft landing that everybody's wishing for, but it might be a lot tougher to do. We may be looking at the hard landing and perhaps that recession that we've all been talking about.
In individual movers, U.S. listed shares of Chinese companies rose after China's central bank lowered its short-term lending rate for the first time in 10 months. Alibaba Group gained nearly 2%, and JD.com jumped 3.5%. Intel gained 2.5% after a report the company is in talks with SoftBank Group's chip designer ARM to be an anchor investor in its initial public offering. And the most traded stock in the S&P 500 was Tesla, with $40.8 billion worth of shares exchanged during the session. Shares of the EV maker rose more than 3.5%.